here's a lesson on identifying what is a function and what is not a function. Not a function is a relationship from a number to a letter that is not a function because the domain value is mapped to the range A, B, and C. So if you look here, we have the number 2. This is what we call our domain, or also our input. And it's popping out, it's mapping to A, it's mapping to B, and it's mapping to C. If we think of these as ordered pairs, we have 2, A, 2, B, and 2, C. This does not represent a function because there's a repeat in the domain. You cannot have a repeat. A repeat in the domain allows you to not have a function. It's still considered a relationship, but it's not a function. All right, the second example of this mapping is a function. You can go ahead and read that now. Each value in the input, or the domain, is mapped to a range. So there's 1A heading out to a range, 1B heading out to a range, and 1C heading out to a range. It's okay that you have multiple of the same range. So as ordered pairs, this is A, 2, B, 2, and C, 2. What we need to see is there's no repeats here. There's a single A, a single B, and a single C. So this is considered a function. Yes, it is a function. Now let's scroll down here. Although a single input is in a function, cannot be mapped to more than one output. 2 or more different inputs can be mapped to the same output. So we'll show you with some more examples here. The quickest way when we give you a relation or a continuous function, that a function can pass the vertical line test if it touches only one time through each imaginary vertical line. So how we test for a function is the vertical line test. So you'll see this in these couple examples here. This is the definition of the vertical line test. And notice here in the red, we have this function that goes down, it comes up, it goes down, and this is considered, yes, a function. If you imagine it creating all these vertical lines, it only touches one time here and one time there, and there are many more touches once here. So this is considered, yes, a function. Now this other graph, this other example here, is not a function because if we create a vertical line, it touches more than once. It touches here and it touches there on the imaginary blue line, so it is not a function. So it fails the vertical line test. Now here are more examples. We're going to go ahead and work on these together. So let's create our ordered pairs. So we have a table here on example A. So let's graph ordered pair 2, 0. So over 2, up 3. Over 3, up 1. Over 5. Down 6. And then over 6, up 4. So remember, as a mapping, if here is your domain and this is your range, the values here, 2, 3, 5, 6, mapped out, 1, 3, 4, and negative 6. 2 maps to 3, 3 maps to 1, 5 maps to negative 6, and 6 maps to 4. Notice there are not any repeats going on in our domain. It also passes the vertical line test. That point hits only once. This one only hits once. This one only hits once. This one only hits once. So yes, it is a function because it passes the vertical line test. Now let's head over and graph this one. 3, negative 1. So over 3, down 1. 4, 5. Over 4, up 5. over 5 up to over 5 up 0. As a mapping, again, the domain and the range circles. We have 3, 4, 5 is our domain values. And then we have -1, 0, 2, and 5. So 3 maps to -1, 4 maps to 5, 5 maps to 0 and 2. So this right here has a repeated x, a repeated domain value. And if we notice it on our graph, there is a failure right here where it hits more than one time at 5. So this would be considered not a function. A couple more examples now. We graphed out a couple. This was a V. If we imagine drawing all these dotted lines, hits once, hits once, hits once, shape of a V. So we would say this is a function. It passes the vertical line test. Now if we head over to example D, problem there. I notice that right here and right there, it fails the vertical line test. It hits more than one time. So it is not a function.